Yee-haw!
The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long. The ceiling is white, but the shadows are black. A ghost in my heart says she'll never come back. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye.
Hold on, I've got to go get gas at the Buc-ee's.
Damn it, Troy.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by the Travis Lloyd Fan Club.
The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long.
Good evening and welcome to the Haunt Hour with your host Dan Doble, Susie Fleesick, and Troy Crivello. Join us tonight as we talk about all things haunting and Halloween during the Haunt Hour.
Welcome. What
Why?
the hell?
Why am I
What are
only,
you doing? What are you doing with that?
I'm only half a
There
face.
we
So there we go.
go.
Ah, all
There
right.
we go.
That was
Welcome,
scary.
everyone, to another fantastic haunt hour.
Mm.
I'm one of your hosts, Dan. I'm here with Troy and Susie. It is episode 4, season 2. Look at that.
Already?
I know. Next thing you know,
Wow.
we're going to blink and it's going to be Halloween. Then what?
That better be.
Dude, it's always Halloween.
I was gonna say, every day's Halloween.
I'm prepared.
You're prepared to
I'm prepared.
eat the mac and cheese.
Or do you guys eat that food? Because it looks the same
It
every
doesn't-
single
it
day of the
doesn't
week.
Okay, but just so you know, this is non-Halloween related, but if you look over here, all this shit is stuff that's in your pantry, and I can guarantee you, Susie, and probably Troy too,
Yep.
that if you go in that pantry, all that same shit is in there. But the
I
difference
doubt it.
between
I
what's
can't
in
see
your
it.
pantry and what's back here is nothing is expired because I threw it all out before I put it in here. So, just saying.
In reality,
I
it's just a
can't
big foam
see
prop. It's
Any
all
of that.
foam.
It probably is.
Yeah, probably just foam.
In reality, we
foam
film
props.
all of the episodes in one day, so this is actually what?
Right. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whole-
We filmed
Yes.
all
whole
these
season
episodes.
is one
Yes,
day.
all in
Yeah.
one day. Just
We
change
just
our
keep
shirts
changing
and-
clothes every hour.
I don't. I'm always wearing this.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome everybody to another fantastic haunt hour. We have a wonderful guest today by the name of Rolland Pickens, and a fabulous home haunter. Sorry, I'm trying to get a footstool here. And
yeah, put your feet up for a while. Stay a while. Hang out with us.
I'm gonna hang out for an hour. Anyway, so we're gonna talk to him, but before we do that, we always jump into a little bit of news. I know
News.
Troy has got some exciting news. He's all excited. He's
I'm
got this Trans World Cherry, so he wants to talk about it, but we're not gonna let that go first.
No.
We're gonna push that till the end.
Yeah.
well, there goes my idea.
Oh, what's your idea?
My idea was I was foregoing my news to give it to Troy because I don't have any news.
Oh,
she made
okay.
a new drink this weekend. She did.
Stop
She
it.
did.
Now, are you making fun? Are you poking fun at me?
Never. I've never
like
done that
you
before
are.
in my life.
I feel like you are.
All right, it's all right, Grandma. We got you.
Look over the glasses. Look over the glasses, and we'll know you're serious.
Grandma's got her spectacles. She's ready to go.
These pearls have been sitting here since last week's
Back
show.
in my day.
I don't have any news. The
there's
news
a pearl-
is I didn't go to Trans World for the
Okay.
first time in like 6 years.
Oh,
That's my
well, there
news.
you go. I haven't gone in 5 years, 6 years, 5 years. So I guess I got that going for me.
Mm. The news is that you and I are going next year, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the news.
As long as it's in February when it's cold out, I think
It's
perfect.
It's in February, so
I'm not
bring your
I'm
snowshoes.
not even gonna go there. We'll just leave it at that. Yes.
You can go.
Yes. I plan on going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I plan on going there, and I plan on going to Fear Expo. So those are the only two I think. I might make it to Texas. We'll see.
You should go to Texas this year.
I just want to. I got so much shit I have to do.
That's not what I said. I said you should go to Texas this year. I did.
Yeah,
I
are you
didn't.
gonna pick me up in the old RV.
Yeah, hop on in.
Come on, Manny.
Come
Get in
on,
the old RV.
What are the dates for Texas? Do you know?
17th and 18th, but it's like we'll be there the 15th through like the 19th. But
Wait, what month are we in?
July.
When it's super hot.
It's just it's tough for like it's build season. It's just tough, you
Right.
know.
July is hard for pros.
Yeah, it's definitely more for that region of the U.S.
Yeah.
Nobody's expecting somebody from Maine to come down there and hang out for a weekend.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's I'll be there because I'll be vending, and that's really my more news. But
and you'll be living there shortly.
I will be,
so
eventually.
That's gonna be your home.
Eventually.
I don't have any news either, so Troy, jump right into it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's
hear it.
So yes, I did go to Trans World. It was an awesome experience. It was there were a few big kind of like whoa type of things. One of them was the parties that everybody hears about after hours. Inside the hotel, it is more networking. It is more hanging out with people. I got to hang out and talk with the creators of Houses October Built 1 and 2. And they actually said they wanted to come to Oregon, which I tried to convince them not to. But they are big fans of Halloween Town, and I know all the organizers of Halloween Town. I know that whole situation, and I can obviously help them get a little more involved with it and be able to experience it. They said all the hotels were booked. There's only like 2 in that town, so but I told them where else he could stay and stuff like that. But talking to them was cool. I got to make a lot of, contacts with people for upcoming projects that I'm doing personally. And it all just kind of came out because you're sitting around saying hi to people, and you see a friend who's talking to somebody, and then you get introduced to that friend who's somebody that you've wanted to talk to. And so that was really cool. It is definitely what you hear about, where a lot of deals are made in that room, way outside of Transworld. There are actors that are hired for other haunts in that room. There are builders. There are, things that are bought from other people. It's definitely a networking paradise. Huh?
What room are you talking about?
The bar at the Marriott. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
The bar and the mezzanine at Marriott. The mezzanine was a little more talking and just hanging out, drinking and playing games and stuff, but the bar seemed to be, you really couldn't turn around and not hit somebody that you're like, oh, hey, So, and we got to talk to people that we work with already, like our tour company works with Ticket Leap. So Lee was there, and then Lee's predecessor is there. And so I was able to talk to them. We were able to, discuss things.
Is Ticket Leap a thing again?
Yeah, Ticket Leap was there. Ticket Leap's along with, like, I swear, 15 other ticket companies. Like, anybody can make a ticket company now.
I think what happened during like the pandemic was like people sat at home and figured out ways to sell tickets online. I'm not kidding. That's a big thing now. Yeah,
there were probably 3 or 4 big ones that were there that were ticket companies. And then there were some smaller ones that were mixed in with the smaller booths. But I was kind of shocked how many that were there, versus in the past. But the booths were amazing. And I know Dan posted in one of our groups earlier, what was one of like the big new product. And, in years past, we've had that product where everybody sends the meme out or the video out of the screaming kid upside down and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, like,
and
the booty, the rump shaking.
Right. This year I really, and me being a home hunter, I wasn't looking at those props as much as probably other people were, but nothing really stood out to me as the new prop or the big thing. There were a lot of pumpkin related items. Scare Factory had a lot of pumpkin related items. They're probably never going to work again. Almost every vendor had pumpkin related items. There were several vendors that just sold pumpkins.
Did pumpkin pulp?
Oh yes. Pumpkins? Oh yes. And he had plenty of non-pumpkin related items.
I love that. I love the pumpkin theme because it's like it's like old school Halloween. Like I love that. That's
and there was lots of cute and scary and gross and gory. It was a good mix. Toxic Effects brought a metric ton of really cool, unique, smushed pumpkins and rotting pumpkins and stuff like that. All of them sold. And that was pretty much the theme of the weekend, was record-breaking sales from day one all the way through Sunday, pretty much of every vendor that was there. And that to me has always been my focal point of conventions in general is, did the vendors do good? Because a lot of those vendors are my friends, and they become friends of mine, and they're customers, and I'm a customer of theirs sometimes. And so that is very important to me personally, whether or not vendors are doing well. And every single one of them was, I personally helped Haunt Shirts set up their booth on Wednesday, and I helped them take it down.
Haunt Shirts.
And they brought, I would say, probably 80 boxes of clothing and like 6 bins, because all the onesies are in these big plastic bins because they're so thick. They went home with 6 bins, but 3 of those bins were no longer full of onesies. They were full of other shirts, and only about 20 boxes, and they were loosely filled. So they sold 3/4 of their stock.
Now, Transworld's not generally a cash and carry show, and like with the exception of t-shirts, because you can. So what was that like? Like, what was your cash and carry options?
There was a lot of there was a lot of mix, and it depends on obviously the vendors. Obviously you've got the mask people. That's cash and carry regardless of who you are. There were any prop company that brought big stuff did have small stuff there too. Pricing wise, that's up to you. I think a lot of those props are a little bit overpriced, but I'm also a home hunter, and I don't understand the value of that versus like what Susie understands the value of buying an $800 prop. That is, that's a lot of money to me, or $3,000 or $4,000. That's a lot of money, but it's a lot of time saved for you, So, but there was a significant amount of cash and carry depending on the vendor. Like Froggy's Frog they only brought scents. They did not bring any machines, no fluid. They had demo machines, which I'm sure they probably sold a few of those. They did sell the Volcano they had.
They normally bring machines and fluid.
Yeah, and they did not bring any because they now have free shipping for their entire website.
There you go.
So you can buy anything on the website, free shipping. So why bring stuff?
Right.
When you're just going to try to ship it home anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you don't have to bring it home too. I mean, makes sense.
Right. And from talking from a few people from Froggies, once again, record sales, thick amount. There it is. Thick amount of orders from each salesperson. So everybody did fantastic there. And there were a ton of people there. A lot of home hunters, a lot of people that we all see on Facebook all the time, spread throughout the different hotels and different events. So it was definitely a giant family reunion for sure. And I know that's why a lot of people went this year. But it was quite the epic weekend.
Okay.
I think.
So now that you're all excited about this, I'm going to, kick you off your horse a little bit and ask you, what did you not like? What could Transworld do better in that situation?
Let me see. Well, I know that several people, including myself, got very lost trying to find the costume ball and the casino night.
Where was it? Was it on?
Where were they located?
In the convention center or no?
The costume ball was at the convention center, and it was up a couple of stairs. We pretty much just followed people in costume, which is pretty much what everybody does. The casino night was in the hotel, and it was through an elevator, up an escalator, down an escalator, through an elevator, up there, right, left, turn around, do-si-do, and then you're there. We actually got out of an elevator, and the sign saying casino night was facing away from us. So we were in the wrong elevator, but we got to that floor. So maybe a little more signage that way. The line was really long to get in, but I know that's a part of it, and there is a trick to that. And maybe people want to private message me. I can tell you the trick because I don't want to give it away.
I don't know. Go at 10 instead of 9. I mean,
no, it's going a completely opposite, a different door. Because we had some people there that were VIP with us, and some of us were not, and so we're not going to separate because we're all friends, and we're not going to be like, you go wait in that line, I'm going to go to this line, So we found a different way around, but they. From going to all the different conventions, they're all seeming to understand the format that needs to be done. Registration needs to be accessible and large enough to not create a bunch of lines. You got to have a lot of people there to help people through. Kind of the flow of things. The floor was well laid out. One of the things I asked a bunch of vendors, as the weekend went on is I noticed a bunch of vendors will put out their booth numbers. And to me, I could care less what booth number you are. I walked the whole floor 3 or 4 times, and there were several vendors who are dead set on where they are on the floor. And I get that. If you've got customers that come in every single year and they go beeline, Nate Dingman did that on Friday morning. He went to 4 different vendors and he zigzagged through the whole thing and never looked the whole way. He's like, I got to go here and buy these things. He knew right where they were. Now, for me, I didn't care where you were versus the next guy because I walked down those rows 3 or 4 times. So it didn't matter where you were. If your booth was good enough for me to look at, I mean, I looked at all of them, but obviously there are eye-catching abilities for a lot of those booths. But probably the one thing I would recommend, and it might actually be the reason for it, is where Distortions is. They get a lot of people in their booth, and they have stuff on both sides, and they're giant things, and they move, and they're really fun to look at. And of course, Ed is standing in the middle of all of it, just talking to everybody. He's the great, him and Marsha are fantastic people, and they want to talk to everybody. You would walk down that aisle and you'd be like, I got to go around. Once you've seen it a couple times, you had to go around their booth to get, go to the other aisles to get around. Now that could be from marketing. Hey, this booth is really busy. Let's what's going on. But as the weekend drug on, it was people showing other people, hey, you should look at this, or just talking and not buying. Thursday and Friday was probably buying, where Saturday and Sunday it was like, okay, can you move out of the way so we can get through. Having them in different spots might have been better. And I know for the next year or possibly 2 years, it's going to be up in the air of where everybody is because of how they're going to have to do the renovations. So that'll be interesting. But that was kind of a weird thing to me, was that it seemed the vendors were worried about where they were for their customers. And to me, it just didn't matter as a buyer.
Yeah,
I could care less.
well, I know, but there's like Kevin Alvey always has a spot right when you come in the door.
Yep.
Right,
That's the spot. He won't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
He will not choose from that spot. So
but
on the
other end of it, if you're going in to buy a Gore Galore goal grabber, you know where you're going. Like, you know, you're not just going to walk in and be like, I think I'm going to buy that.
But if you've never been there before,
prop.
let's say you're Troy, you walk in and the first thing you see is,
boom,
grabbers.
True, but Troy's not buying a $5,000.
No, but
it does set the mood.
What I'm saying is it sets the mood, but that's not the reason why he does it, because it's a wow factor. It's it's right there and everybody sees it and everybody knows where it is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to.
Transworld wants him there too, because it is like your first time you walk in and you've got something coming at you.
Yeah.
You're like, literally, I remember the first time I walked on that floor and I was like, take all of my money and my kids. I want it all. You know what I mean?
We did all the first year we did interviews for them down there. We did them all in front of Kevin's booth, because it's like you're catching people walking in the door and you're actually, you've got great eye candy behind you. So
and that helped out Haunchers, because Haunchers was right to the left of them. And so as you walked around Kevin's booth, you saw Haunchers was right there.
That's a great spot for them.
That's the new spot for them.
Yeah,
that aisle was pretty pretty packed too.
Yeah,
right there.
that's a great
aisle. There was always people walking around because they were back to back, and then they would turn around and look at the other stuff, And so it was pretty. It was very, very successful for both of those to be right next to each other. I'm sure anybody would benefit from that.
Were the aisles set up like regular? Because last year they were like COVID style, and instead of walking 10 miles a day, we walked 15 miles a day because we had to walk further.
No, it was all back to normal, all back to really, the 10 foot, 10 foot wide or whatever it is that, the carpet width, so there was just one roll of carpet down there. And there were a couple of aisles that were bigger, but I think that's because of the big pylons that, the big, supports to go up. They had to make them wider for that. But some really cool booths, like 916 Rust had a really cool like gas station type booth where you actually went inside the gas station to do your deals, and they had all the shelves in there. They had rusted gas stations, stuff like that.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool. Froggies had their big volcano. Fright Props had a pretty big one. Ned's LED lights had a really cool booth that Ethan made that sold. He had a walkthrough, like you walked through a little haunted thing, and that was awesome. Cyclone Signs had a really cool booth. It was along the back of the dark zone, and it was real flashy, but it looked like it wasn't too bright where it ruined poison props across the way. So they really interacted with each other really well, and I really liked all the signs. They were blinking, and they were just the right colors in that room, and it looked really cool. And of course, Poison Props was in there. They were really cool, but super loud. Like Ned was right across from, or Ned's LEDs. His name's not Ned, but
right.
His right across from him was two Poison Props that had chains. One was chaining in a barrel, and the other one was chaining one of those doors. Like the metal door with the chains. So every time that would go off, it would just be nothing but chains. And it's just like, I'm sure after a while you could drown it out, but none of the customers could, because they were just in and out, but yeah, it was definitely an experience. But I still will live by my mantra. I think everybody needs to go to all of them, and don't say I will only go to one, because you're missing out.
Will you go back?
I will add it to my rotation. Yes. It'll obviously be several years before I go back because of moving, and then my rotation. I haven't been to MHC in a couple of years, and I want Ashley to go with me to that one. And if Ohio ever comes back, but I do have to do Midsummer first. Because I have still not done that yet. So that'll be my next big one after moving.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm just going to rotate out the ones, each year. So it'll be 3 or 4 years in between when I go to Transworld, because I still don't feel like I need to be there, because I am a home haunter, Yeah, I've got connections with some of those people, and I made some good connections while I was there, but I still don't think that I needed to be there.
It was like a vacation, right? Like for you, it was more of a vacation than like a work trip.
I would walk by vendors and I would go, or I wouldn't. And these people I talk to all the time. I probably talked to Tater once or twice on the physical floor. I talked to him all evening, but I'd walk by and go, and just walk on, because these people, yes, we talk to them all the time, but these people are there to make deals. This is their year. Most of these vendors make their entire profit at this show, and all their money for the year. They budget their entire business around this show to do this, and they don't need home haunters and actors running up and going, "What's that, man?
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah. It happens though.
Yeah, and so do you have any pins or patches, or do you have a pop?
Where's your free stuff? I want your free stuff.
They did all have free stuff, but
all right.
So,
I'm shutting you down, Troy. Speaking of free stuff, we got to talk to Rolland here.
Free stuff.
Free stuff.
Yeah, let's talk to Rolland.
Let's talk to Rolland. Rolland, there you are.
Hey, Dan, I like your shirt.
Hey, thanks. You notice that?
Hey, it's like we're twins or something.
Oh man,
with the beard.
Yeah,
gray.
I'm a little grayer than you, though.
Yeah, wow.
I'm wearing a Bucky's Texas t-shirt. This is Texas. Act like it. I forgot about my toxic pneumatic shirt.
Well, you should have.
I have one of those.
I was just wanted to make sure that I didn't tell Troy because I knew he probably did have one, but then Susie would be the odd woman out, and I didn't want that to happen either. So
I didn't get to ask earlier, but Rolland, are you in a big bed? Is that what that is?
No, I'm on like a lounge couch.
It looks like a big, extra large king.
No,
just gonna go
bed.
No, it's a couch. It's like a lounge couch type thing.
Okay.
He's in his haunt room. He's in his panic room.
Oh, okay. Let's hear about the panic room.
It's got a secret door to it too.
He does. It's awesome. It's super awesome. I have been lucky enough to be in the residence of Mr. Pickens.
Here, I'll pan it up,
and it is quite the room.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I get it now. But that looked like a headboard.
Oh,
wow. No, that's just paneling.
Yeah,
You have your own little secret haunt room?
Yes.
Right.
It's like haunted, like decked out like haunt shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. With lights and everything. Like he's got haunt lighting in there and everything.
Really?
I don't know. I think you should probably forego the new kitchen, Dan, and you should do that.
Right?
And that's actually my youngest son right there.
I love it.
And so when you move the picture, it changes to a ghost face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's got arcade games and a movie theater and party at Rolland's house.
Yeah. I know where the Texas trade show party convention is going to be now.
Right. It's in his backyard.
Dan's definitely coming down.
Yeah, now I'm coming now. Yeah. I'm coming now. I'm in.
If you can swim around the dogs, you can swim in the pool.
I'll swim in the pool. That's fine. Anyway. Yeah. So Rolland,
yes,
you're a home haunter, correct?
Yes, sir.
For those people that don't know who the hell you are, and there's probably very few because you're very well known in the home haunting.
Well, I don't know about that, but
well. With that being said, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you have? You have a home haunt, I presume?
Yes, I have a home haunt, and I collect canned goods and dry foods and dog food for the local food pantry. And it's in my neighbor's backyard. He let me take it over this year, so I got to expand.
How big is it? I know you sent pictures up. I'm surprised Troy hasn't.
This year was 800 square feet.
Is that the biggest it's ever been?
No. My previous house had a huge backyard, and I went up to 2,500 square feet on that one.
Nice.
And it's all outdoor. It's all maze, correct? It's all wall panels.
Yep. That's my son. That's the one that was in the picture.
Oh, that's cool. I was going to ask.
He's grown a little since.
A little bit.
Is that the same one that I met when I came down?
You met my oldest.
Okay. That was years ago.
By the way, I'm thoroughly convinced either your camera has ghosts or you caught the lights just perfectly because on a lot of your stuff, they've got those 8 lights on the bottom of the screen.
It's haunted.
It is.
Ghost, yes.
It absolutely is.
This is a video. I was watching
this. Is this a newer one or is this an older one?
This is
this last year.
Got it.
The soundtrack that you have playing on this video, we played a couple years ago. We had a clown theme, and I was instantly brought back to our haunt.
Right.
You don't have it on right now, but I can't remember what it is. But I was like, oh my God, this is memories.
Do you do all the artwork?
No, I'm not that artistic. My buddy, a neighbor of mine, he used to be a tattoo artist, and he loves doing clown stuff. And so he did a lot of now this stuff right here, I did all that, but all the just the really cool looking clowns on the walls, he did all that stuff.
And so you, I guess we probably should maybe start a little earlier. What got you in to Halloween and haunting? Like, what was the first thing that like catapulted you into wanting to do Halloween stuff?
Well, when I was, I want to say I was probably 4 or 5. My sister was like in a Girl Scout campfire girl thing, and they did like this little haunted house thing, and I went in there and it scared me so much that I ran out and I tripped and busted my lip. So that was kind of like my first thing, a haunted house. And then it's just when I was a kid, I just loved it. And we used to, deck out our garage, it's pretty much dip your hand in this kind of gross stuff kind of thing when I was a kid. And then when I was a teenager, I would deck out we had a little porch. And so I decked that out. And then, I grew up and 20s came and, I'd go to haunted houses and I just loved them all the time. And then what started me doing what I do now, oh gosh, probably 10 years ago, my oldest son wanted a Halloween party. I said, well, okay, well, we're going to deck out or we're going to put a little haunted house in the garage. And so we did. And at the time we'd get maybe 10 trick-or-treaters. Well, that year we got 50 trick-or-treaters. And then I just kind of got the bug. I started watching YouTube and I'm like, well, I could build that. And I started getting into pneumatics. And then I started posting videos and selling some stuff too. And so that's kind of how I all got into what I do now.
What does your wife think of all this?
She loves it. She's very supportive. When we do a Halloween party, she's in charge of the party and I'm in charge of the haunted house.
Yep, that's the way it was here at our house. That's how I started. It was, let's have a party. It was a housewarming party, probably.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, it pretty much just started my son wanted a Halloween party and I'm like, okay. And that was it. And then I started watching YouTube. I started watching Diablo and the other Troy and I'm just like, man, these aren't my people.
Right. So how did you get into pneumatic stuff? I've got videos to show of that too. So we'll move on to that stuff. But how did you get into that type of builds?
Well, I started watching YouTube and I'm like, how do they make those things move?
Yeah.
And then it's like, I've always been mechanically inclined and I used to have an irrigation company. So I understand how things flow, liquids and air. And so that's, I watched these videos and I just started making the stuff and I forget the name of that one company. There was a company and they were at Transworld and I started going because my neighbor across the street had a haunted house and I started building stuff for him. And I can't remember, but they did a lot of pneumatics and I bought their book and I kind of studied their book a little bit.
Did they have videos too? What was the name of that? I know which one. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Oh gosh, I can't remember the name.
They were big. They were the place to go to buy wiper motors, wasn't it?
No, they're out of California.
And
I know he had a booth at Transworld and would sell pneumatics because he did that to fund his haunt. I'm trying to think, but anyways, so I was really impressed by their stuff and I just started building stuff. I'm a welder, certified welder, so it's like I can weld and do all that kind of stuff, and that was it. My very first pneumatic, though, since I used to be an irrigator, I made it out of a sprinkler head, plastic sprinkler head, and I used a sprinkler valve, and it cost me like $150 to get that thing working right. And then like after Halloween that year, I started looking on eBay and it's like, oh, I can buy a cylinder for $25 and a solenoid for like $15. And so I overspent and, but now it's, I make the real stuff now.
Was it DC props?
I was going to say.
That's it. DC props.
It's DC. Okay.
Yes. Yep. And I just love their stuff. And I'm just like, man, this is, I'd see them at Transworld and then, and I'd look and ask them questions and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got pneumatics, just YouTube. It was like a torso riser and I saw this thing sit up and go down and I'm like, okay, I need to make that.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Well, just so everybody is fully aware, they are still DC Props is still in existence.
Yeah,
I
haven't seen them in a long time. Or
yeah, they were they still make all the DIY pneumatic stuff and
right.
maybe one day Google will actually accept pneumatic as a word and and not have to try to force you to change it for some reason.
Right.
But did you because you said you were inclined on this stuff and you knew a lot of that stuff, like, to me, air props is very intimidating, because of all the stuff that goes into it, all the parts and pieces, and you gotta have this fitting and this solenoid and this air thing and this disc, and just what would you say to somebody who's trying to get into doing air props if they're intimidated?
Every time someone asks me, they're like, well, man, it's just, there's so much to it. I just tell them, just build an air cannon. That's like the simplest pneumatic, but I think it's like really the biggest bang for your buck.
No pun intended.
And start with something like that, or start with something that just pops up and goes down. You can put a head on a cylinder, hook up the cylinder to an air, and just mount the cylinder on like a 2x4, and just have it pop up and go down, and start that way.
Yeah.
Don't do the door closers, or don't do PV, because that's just not safe. So if you're gonna do it right. Go on eBay or Amazon, get yourself a 6-inch cylinder or however big you want, and get a solenoid, and go to town.
So the air portion of this is all controlled by electronics that tell it when to do what it's supposed to do.
Correct. Yeah.
How did you teach yourself to do that, or did you already have an idea of how all that stuff operated?
Well, that first pneumatic I talked about that I made with a sprinkler head, I was fortunate enough, my neighbor across the street that kind of got me into doing more. He owns a haunted house up in Oklahoma, and he fortunately had a Peekaboo AC controller where you can plug into it.
Yep.
And he let me borrow that. So that's how I got aware of controllers.
Okay.
And I just started looking at Fright Props controllers, and I've done Tim Thompson's controllers before too, and I try to make my own, but I'm just not good at that. So I'd rather just buy it and have it and
it's one
play
less
with
thing
it and make it work.
Yeah.
So on this
one right here on the video, that's just a very simple. It's just up on a 2x4 or 2x3. And I mean, you could start off with something like that, just something real simple if you're going to get into pneumatics.
And so the top tube is for the release, and the bottom one is for the push up.
Yeah, that's that's called a double acting cylinder.
Okay.
So and what I'm twisting right there on the video, that's a flow control. So you're going to control the speed of the cylinder with that.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I use double acting cylinders. If anybody's interested in what kind of cylinders I use, you can see there's another fitting right there, and it's got more control. Some you can use a spring loaded one too, but the double acting ones, they've got a lot more. You can do a lot more with them.
Okay.
So where do you get your creativity to create things? Do you build the prop and then say, okay, this is how I want it to act? Or do you take the solenoids and build it around what you have, like solenoid?
No, I think about something. It's like, okay, what do I want it to do? And then I just get the cylinder that's going to fit the application for it.
It just feels so daunting to create something. Like you go and you see these big animatronics that have 18 different motions, and they move around like this, and they jump up and down, and they shake their lump, and it's like, how I wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah, I understand pneumatics enough to be dangerous, but it seems so overwhelming and daunting. But you seem to have a handle on it. How do you get past that? I'm sure you had that at some point, like, man,
and I look at it this way: those big props that do all kinds of stuff, they're just a bunch of little pneumatics.
Yeah.
So you're just putting a bunch of little pneumatics together to do your prop. So, a lot of them have this, they're been in their arms like that or whatever, but it's the same thing just in different areas, and you're just doing different things with it.
And you're just adding bigger controllers so that each thing is controlled by a different thing. Yeah.
So why do these things fail so much?
Mine doesn't.
Not yours.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the names.
I was going to say.
Factory, but I've fixed a lot of their stuff before.
Yeah. Why does it fail? Like what fails?
Yeah. Why do theirs?
I think it's just the craftsmanship. They probably just pay very little and just have guys come in there that don't really know how to weld or whatever. And,
it's broken welds.
Yeah, and it's like, I've always been, when I had my sprinkler business, I was all about quality, and I never had any warranty work at all when I was in business. So it's, I'm about quality, and I maybe I over engineer it, so they don't break. And I look at it this way too. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want it. So I'm going to over engineer it so it's not going to break or something go flying or whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
So you could actually market yourself as the fixer of Scare Factory.
Well, I do.
I mean, right? Like you could be
people know to go to him.
There's several.
Because, it's a good concept.
Yeah, there's several local haunts that I've fixed Scare Factory stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, after finally seeing a Scare Factory prop up, I went to MHC a couple years ago and got to go to their factory, but it was literally them just kind of trying to hawk their stuff off on us while we were on a bus. I don't know how we were going to get something out of there, but whatever. Seeing them in live at Transworld, seeing how big they were and watching the people underneath them go, oh my God, this is so cool. While the whole time I'm thinking in the background, it's cool, but but to see all of the mechanisms, it seems like kind of what he was saying is that it's done fast, not quality. It's done to make it work and make it look good, and then we'll fix it later. And while that's good for maybe marketing videos and stuff like that, to bring it to somebody live, is that prop the same thing that'll be delivered to them? On Friday morning, there were 2 broken props already in that area. They had to fix them. They were there for a day.
So, Rolland, would it be reasonable for you to say buy one of their things, take it apart and fix it the right way versus build that yourself from scratch, from the ground up?
Well, and I've
would
done
that. Be worth it for you?
I haven't bought any, but I've
acquired.
Like I said, I know people who have them.
Yeah.
Professional haunts, and I've fixed them for them. But I don't think I would buy them. I would just make my own.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, it would be worth it to just make your own.
Because I mean, scratch. What am I going to do? Buy one that doesn't work and then fix it up and sell it as my own? Or I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that goes, I mean, that's me. I'm at Transworld going, oh my God, that's amazing. I love it. It's so big. And the price isn't bad. I know everybody's probably like, what? But for me, I'm like, if that thing works,
Yep.
Like
Same.
It's not, they're not badly priced.
Right.
If I had the brains, maybe I would buy it and be like, okay, let's make sure this thing is going to hold up.
Right.
I obviously don't have those skills. So for me, it's not worth it because I can't have it break down in the middle of the season.
Well, I've got a friend, they don't have a haunt anymore, but they did have a pro haunt, and what they would do, they would go buy their broken stuff. And then I would fix it for them.
And they'd get a steal.
Yeah, because they got it really cheap. And
it's right. It's done right then.
Right. And I would beef up the welds, and, there were hoses cut or whatever. And I'd put in the new cylinders and get everything working right. And put a new controller on it or whatever.
Rolland, Anthony Powers says, where do you get your cylinders and solenoids?
Usually eBay and Amazon.
Okay. That's your go-to, your first place.
Yeah. Because I'm a home hunter, so I'm looking for price.
Mm-hmm.
On eBay or Amazon Prime, it's like, man, I get it the next day.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to do it more professionally, I would go to like McMaster Craft and stuff like that, just because I want to make sure I'm getting good quality.
Yeah. Jen Skaggs says, "Do you hook up a trigger to a peekaboo controller? I don't know how they work."
It depends. If I want it to loop, then I don't. But if I want it to trigger, yes, I will trigger. And Fright
What
Prop
is a
sells the
peekaboo controller
triggers
for
for
those
the.
that don't know?
Yeah, that's a peekaboo. Fright Prop sells the controllers for the peekaboos.
We
And
use those.
so
Don't
what
ask
I
me what we use
use,
them on.
if I'm using a peekaboo controller, I will buy Fright Prop's motion sensor trigger.
So basically, it's the brain to tell it when to do, what to do, when to do it, and for how
Well,
long
it's
to do
kind
it.
of like
correct?
the doorbell on a house, and so the doorbell rings, you know to go. Yeah, but the controllers are your brain.
Got it.
And a lot of times, what's really cool about the Fright Props one is their website normally has a video of how to hook stuff up to it. You know, your
Yes.
basic stuff. It's not going to be hardcore, but it's going to say, do
Yes.
this, do this, do this, do this, you know, and they've made it where it's literally just pushing buttons after you've plugged the right things in.
Yeah.
You know, it's holding a
They're
button,
great.
recording, you know. I've used they're very small, like the 1 or 2 trigger one. I have one of those. And basically you just sit it on your desk for an hour and just kind of watch their videos and just test something. Have a door actuator for a door lock, from Amazon, and just have it open and close, so you kind of get the hint of it. But that's what I really like about Fright Props is they definitely show you, how to do it in layman's terms.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good how to on this. I mean, I've gone to theirs too. But yeah, I really like their website and how they're willing to give you the information of how to do things as far as hooking things up and all that.
Yeah.
And we got another one here. Hugh Flesher says, "Do you muffle exhausting air with silencers or pipe it away from the seam?"
I muffle, and they've got flow controls on the mufflers that I like to use. So I can use the flow controls on the mufflers and the flow controls on the cylinders to get it to move the way I want it.
Yeah, that's my main complaint about air props, and I think that's why we're hearing a lot more music and loud music in Haunt. Is there
turn the noise up. Turn the noise up.
Right, turn the noise up so you don't hear that.
It doesn't matter. I'll hear it and I still will jump. I am the jumpiest person. I know it's coming.
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll push that jumpy person in front of me, and I'm like, "Oh, I know what's coming," and I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah, that's what you tell everybody in public.
I pee my pants. I pee my pants. Absolutely.
I pee my pants.
I jump in haunted houses all the time, and I love it. But I do know something's coming when that, so a motor prop or an actor, I'm not going to notice it coming, or like we were talking about Gorgalore earlier, they have these actor-driven props where they've got these big things that there's somebody behind it moving it around, so
we
I
have
think
one of those.
that's kind of
our air prop. That's the only thing we use our Ep4.
See, and I think he's onto something with those. Is the human powered animatronics, and I think that's really something that's going to really help. Is to give haunts another option. You can go motor, you can go actor, and you can go air. And you're going to get good scares out of all of them, depending on
my theory.
Actors.
My theory on the animatronics, the pneumatics, or whatever, it's just a distraction. I mean, you can't replace an actor,
right?
And so if you got an actor pushing one of those big giant puppets like that, it's going to be more natural, and you're never going to get the same thing twice,
right?
The problem with that is finding the right person to work that, because I have the problem of having everybody that wants to be a scarer, and you're actually not really, you're not in costume, you're wearing black. And that's the hardest spot for us to fill. And it's literally our ending. It's our very last day in our haunt. And it's very difficult to find not only the right person, any person, plus you have to be strong. Those are heavy.
Yeah.
It was what we had when I had my pro haunt. It was what we had at the end of this, and I ran it every night because
I would love to do that, because
it was awesome. I
don't think I'm good at
so many people. It was so great.
And our scare cam's there too when we have it up. But yeah, it's a great scare.
See, because I would just laugh the whole
It's-
time at people. Like I would just love that because I just be sitting there going, "Here we go," And I mean, that's just me. I think I'm bad at scaring people. I'm much more of the entertainer. That's why I've done queue line acting versus actually scaring in a haunted house. Sure, I can do a drop panel, because the drop panel's the thing that's scaring them, not me. And so but like getting into character and scaring somebody in the haunt, I don't believe I'm that good at it. So doing queue line or doing something behind that, I think that would be more me or
having that be the thing that you're controlling instead of using yourself.
Right.
Probably easier for you.
So, I'm sure you could find, you're always going to have that actor, coming to the auditions that's just like, I just don't know. I'm not good with people and blah, blah. You're behind the thing.
Yeah, you gotta be strong and you have to get good timing.
Yeah,
that has
you
to have
do.
good timing.
Yeah,
just has to.
Definitely.
Another question from Hugh Flesher: do you prefer peekaboo and Raspberry Pi?
Or do we know?
Yeah,
I do prefer peekaboo because they're going to be reliable. You get those Raspberry Pis or Arduinos, homemade.
Mm-hmm.
They may work or they may not, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather have something that I can count on, because otherwise the props aren't going to work. And I'm also going to try purgatory controllers here on my next project just to see, how they work.
Next project, is this a home haunt project?
Probably. I haven't decided. I'm getting an idea of kind of what I want to do for my haunt this fall. So I'm kind of, I've got something in my mind that I'm going to build, but
how many props do you end up putting in or putting together every season? I mean, is it like one big build and then we'll get a couple here and there, or is it like do you get like Steve Reeves who just keeps making things?
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff that I make, I repurpose.
Okay.
So I do the mechanisms for them, and I can take something off that and put something else on for that theme of that year. And same thing with my walls too. I paint I can't tell you how many coats of paints are on my walls for my haunt, just because I try to repurpose everything. And if I can't repurpose it, I get rid of it.
Where do you store it all?
I've got 2 storage units in my garage.
Yep.
And then, sometimes I just get rid of stuff just because I haven't used that in 6 years, so it's going.
Yeah. He when I went to Texas last year, he drove us around, he made us dinner and stuff like that. And in when we were driving back, he said, "Hey, let's drive by the haunt. I can show you where, where I've got it partially set up and stuff like that." And we were driving. And we're like, this is cool, whatever. And then he points over to the left and it's just a storage facility.
That's from a haunt set.
If you follow Rolland on Facebook, don't ever let him do any plumbing in your house or any electrical, because
or
drywall, or just don't let him in your house.
Hey, I'm the best.
You are the best.
It's not. It may be there, but it's not. So he saves all of his safe stuff for the haunt.
Yeah,
he devotes all that to the haunt, and then the rest.
I don't know what the problem is with my work, Troy.
I didn't touch any walls in his house. I felt like it was all electrified and whatever. So I was like, as I'm walking up the stairs, I'm like, just gonna hold my hands right here.
Oh,
waiting for nails to come up out of the floor.
If you got on the wrong step, you would have fell through.
That's what I was hoping. It was a trick step for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like let's see. Anthony Powers wants to know, tell us about your 1 year acting in a pro. Why only 1 year?
This should be good.
Well, he was there too.
That's why he mentioned it. He had a story here.
It was the only year both of you acted in a haunted house that never again.
Yes. Yeah. I was looking for my butter quite a bit and trying to find it and asking people. People would walk in and I'd be still, and all of a sudden I'd pop at them. Have you seen my butter? Where's my butter? I was in the kitchen. I need my butter.
Right.
So yeah. So that was my line in the haunt. Have you seen my butter?
That must have been annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then going into your kitchen later on, your real kitchen, and going, "There's
Where's
no
my
butter. I
butter?"
have to say it. Damn it!"
Well, it was so funny. A couple years later, Anthony Powers gave me a Christmas ornament, and it was a
Stick of butter.
stick of butter.
Yeah. We have that ornament actually. My daughter
Yeah.
bought it for some reason.
Not because she went through a haunted house and saw somebody.
I think
Maybe
one
she
time
did. Who knows?
I think one time I said I like tacos or something. I was trying all this other stuff, but
Yeah,
Right.
the butter
entertainment.
line just stuck.
Just work.
That's great.
Yeah.
I see
might-
a T-shirt in your future.
Yeah.
Where's my butter?
Yeah.
Where's my butter?
It's funny how those things kind of stick. We had a guy one time that had a speech impediment, and he was in, you said kitchen. He was in the cafeteria, and he had to push people into the freezer, the walk-in freezer, and he said "fuiza." So we always say "fuiza" all the time now.
Or,
Get in the fuiza.
but it's
That's
so
funny you
cool.
mentioned that because they actually walked into a freezer.
Yeah.
It was a refrigerator, and we opened the door, and
Oh,
they
that's
walked
so
right in
cool.
and went into the next room. So.
Oh, I love that. I love
And
that.
Anthony was in the fridge.
Yes, Anthony was in the fridge.
And he had your butter.
He had my butter in the freezer.
We
Yeah, we
one
had
that's-
good times. Him and I had a good time in that. And he actually, I don't know if you got a picture of it, but he
Oh no, he's gonna
designed the
post that.
facade, and it was beautiful. It was amazing.
What was the name of the haunt?
Twisted Manor.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Is this a relation to you, Jackson Pickens?
that's my
What do you-
son.
Where do you find your actor?
So it looks like what he did was he had his
Down the
son, like, had a bunch
hall.
of questions
My actor, I
afterwards.
find him. Yeah, I find him in my house.
I feed him
love
dinner.
Yeah, I
He's,
feed him dinner. I let him live here.
Where do you find your
Wow, that's-
actors? Of my loins. Literally.
So
Oh my
you
God.
mean, I remember this now. Now that I'm looking at it, this is
There it is.
That's
Yes.
badass.
It was amazing. He did such an awesome job on it. It was just incredible.
That's sweet. Who
That's
did this?
super cool.
Anthony Powers.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And now he
Yeah.
makes signs.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome signs.
He does.
He does amazing work.
That's a lot of that's a lot of detail. you
That
know?
looks like
Yes.
my house. I have that on my house, that like gingerbread stuff. I'm not
The
kidding.
skull
The
Well,
skull,
yeah.
yes. But that's what I'm
right over
talking
the
about.
window.
No, like the little dental, what do they call those?
Yeah, it's dental molding, isn't it?
That's what my house has. Yeah.
Your
And,
your
like-
house also has this big cut in it right here too. Is that where?
Maybe.
That's
Maybe
where
my
That's your
ceiling's
bedroom,
caving
right?
in.
That's right. Well,
We
it's
don't
where
know.
you would be.
My Peloton's right in there.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
Peloton's behind here.
I wave out of the hole there.
Oh my goodness.
Well, all right. Well then, yes. So other than making your kids be actors, where else do you where else do you find actors?
My kids' friends.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's several kids in the neighborhood that are my friends' kids, and so they act too. But yeah, it's mostly just my kids' friends or some friends of mine's kids.
How
How long
many do
does
you
it-
have?
Oh, I think we
Kids?
had about 10 or 13
No.
this last year.
He just had 10 or 13 kids. Actors.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like that is a
Oh, there's the butter guy right there.
Is that it? I
That
love
was
it.
that was me asking for my butter.
I love it.
remember, nothing on Facebook ever goes away.
It does not. It does not.
I find everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a good time working with Anthony and some other made good friends. In fact, I stole. I said I get all my actors from my kids. Well, actually, one of the actors at that haunt, she's like one of my main actors. So
Oh, really?
I didn't steal her because that haunt's no longer open. But yeah, she was, and so she's always texting me, "Are we gonna do a haunt this year?" And yep, we're doing one.
So Anthony, what he's saying is you need to open your haunt again.
Well, it wasn't his.
Well, he needs to go do that facade again somewhere.
Yes, he does. It's actually that facade is at a
That's
home
right.
hunters down in Austin, Texas now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it didn't go away. It's still around, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Hugh wants to know if you've ever used the bellow cylinders. I think it's because they want to make an elevator up there at God, they're gonna kill me for not knowing the name of their freaking haunt up there.
I did use the airbags one time for a friend of mine for an elevator, but I didn't know what I was doing. But I think it turned out all right because it ended up working. So
yeah. Elevators are kind of hit and miss with people.
Yeah.
You see some people do them right, and some people they're just like, I will never, ever, ever, ever make one of these again.
Yeah. If I ever make one again, there's a lot of things I do a lot different.
Yeah. Let's see. So let's see. We covered your pneumatics. Let's see.
Home haunt. Pro haunt for a year.
Pro haunt for a year.
We covered butter.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did. Butter.
Butter. Check.
Evidently, he likes to go through Starbucks.
Oh yes.
As
Jason.
Jason.
Okay.
Yep. Jason versus Starbucks.
Love it.
You know what? We probably should. You know what? Let's do this a different way. Let me get it up here. You can ask him another question or something.
Can we? We
Yeah,
allow.
like,
Wait,
or we can
here.
just sit here in utter silence.
Brandon Marshall says hello.
Oh yeah.
And then he says, "Hi everyone."
Hi, Brandon.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Let's see how long it takes to upload here.
What are you
So
doing?
what are your plans? What are your plans for this year?
Well, originally I was gonna do like classic Universal monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolf. But a couple months ago I was building the set for my son's play, and it was based on it was based in New Orleans. And so I got the New Orleans bug for the cemetery. So I'm going to do like a New Orleans style cemetery.
That's sweet.
With
I like that.
mausoleum type thing.
Nice.
So that's.
Isn't it funny how like you get like one tiny little thing? I'm not that building that set was tiny,
Right.
but like one little thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I want to do. And it just like goes off.
Different things.
Well, the thing is, I plan my next year's haunt while I'm building this year's haunt. And so last year I was like, oh, I want to do Universal Monsters. And there's the play right there. And then I started building like all these tombstones and the gate and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
This is a good question. Do you plan out your stuff on paper before you actually build it?
No, it's just, I'm terrible about that. And like, I'll do my layout. I'll draw my layout on paper.
We don't either.
Where'd you get all my pictures from?
I get it. Don't ask me.
He has your password. I mean, it's like crazy the shit he
I have everything.
Now he's gonna
grab it.
Now he's gonna find your.
Now I'm like, I'm scared for you to move to Texas because you're like stalking me.
Yeah,
I already know everything about everybody there. I know.
agree.
I am on it.
But you know, I'll do my layout on.
It's also 63 and drizzling where he lives right now. So
how are you getting this?
Weird.
Oh,
it's sure I want to be a part
all
of
my
this
pictures
anymore.
on Facebook, not on my phone. But you know, I'll do my layout on paper. But as far as like props, there's my dog.
Weird.
It's one of my dogs.
Just saying.
Hey, don't show.
I don't agree to this.
Yeah, don't show those special pictures, please.
Don't
Oh,
send
you mean
me
this
that
one?
special folder.
The one that
You mean that one?
Yeah, don't show that one.
I love
sorry.
that.
Sorry, my bad.
I was going through a phase.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I'll put my layout on paper and then you know, go from there. But as far as like props or anything, I don't put anything down. It's in here.
Do you have a budget? Do you have a budget that you adhere to every year?
Budget.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever's in the account that you want to spend.
Yeah, sure.
Your allowance.
Yeah, your
What's
allowance.
up, Tim? It's not that my allowance isn't much.
How much do you spend? How much do you spend on your haunt? You don't want to know. That's why you don't.
I'm
eat
not
September.
with my son on here.
Look
I'm
who's
not gonna say.
asking. Yeah, look who's asking.
He'll be like, hey, Dad, hey, come on, pay up.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Well, you spend that much on the haunt? I need gas money.
Right? Why do you
What's
always
up with
say
the
no when I
P-room?
want something?
Get a
Oh
job.
man.
Yeah.
Anthony wants to know about the P room.
Oh, the
Is
P
this
room's
on your
awesome.
OnlyFans?
Well, the P room is our downstairs bathroom, and my wife and her sister one day just decided to pee on the walls.
Stop it.
Literally, we got peas all over the walls.
Oh, okay.
God.
Okay.
P room.
Nope.
So they,
So he goes, "Hey, you want to see her? My wife
What
peed
I
all over
ju-
the room."
What I just thought of your wife for that split
Yeah.
second.
Same here. I was
well, they did. They peed all over the walls.
They did. They did.
Troy's seen it.
I have actually. Yes, I have.
That's awesome.
That was. I forgot about that.
That was his highlight. Was going in my P room.
They did. It was.
Did you pee on the walls
He did.
too? Troy?
He went in my P room. Huh?
Did Troy pee on the walls?
I did. I actually peed in the pool. That was my threat that I was gonna pee in his pool.
But
Yeah,
the
my
P is
pool
for,
turned
your
blue
last
for like a
name,
week
right?
after Troy went in it.
Oh.
It did. I didn't bring a swimsuit to Texas, so it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I've got him on video. Should I show that?
Yeah. If you want to ruin our show,
I'm logging off.
Speedo full of Brillo.
I get a venti, just black coffee with 4 sweet and lows.
You said a venti coffee with 4 sweet and lows, correct?
Yes, and then a tall mocha, and then 2 skinny caramel macchiatos, and that's it.
Okay, so I've got venti pike plates with 4 sweet and lows, a tall mocha, and 2 grinding skinny caramel macchiatos, correct?
Yes.
You got it.
Thank
That's
you.
going to be $16.67.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do today, Jason?
Kill. As soon as I get done with this line.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Getting ready to go to work.
Nice. What do you do for a living?
Kill people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a few people for you to add to your list.
Alright, well, you know.
It's gonna be 60%
Facebook me.
for you. This better go on YouTube, I'm just saying. Do you need a receipt today?
No, thank you.
What's your name again?
Jason.
Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Voorhees is my last name in case you want to Facebook me.
What'd you say?
Voorhees is my last name in case you want to Facebook me.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll look you up.
Sweet.
Alright. You didn't have to, yeah. Tall mocha? And the lid's not on.
Alrighty.
There you go. Skinny caramel macchiato for you. I'm guessing the other skinny caramel macchiato is yours?
Mm-hmm.
Figures, man.
That's yours.
And your pie.
Alright. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. Gotta ring you up one more time. I'm so sorry.
Alrighty.
Get it. Thank you.
There you go.
I think your card might not be working. Give me some.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, no,
There we go. Alrighty.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Have fun working.
I will. It's my favorite day of the year.
That's awesome. That is funny.
Kill people.
your card got declined.
Well,
Jason's
you know what?
card got
My wife got on me about that. She's like, "You shouldn't say that," and blah blah. So now when I do it, I tell them I'm a camp counselor.
That's good.
Oh,
There you go.
Have you seen my mom?
Yeah.
You see my mom.
I'm looking for my mom.
So we've come to that part of the show where I share your social media. If you're not a friend of Rolland's on his Facebook page, you can't be because he has 5,000 friends and he doesn't accept anymore. But you can watch him.
Well, I do accept people if I've interacted with you.
That's right.
But if it's just someone, I don't accept them.
Yeah, because then they'll have access to all those pictures too.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you can subscribe, and he's got way less subscribers than he should because there are a lot of good how-tos on here. And he'll be putting up some more because I'm telling him to. So he'll be putting up lots more how-tos this summer and next summer. But yeah, it's Toxic Pneumatics on
with an X instead of a C.
Yep, yes. With an X right there. Yep, see X. And make sure you hit subscribe and hit the little bell right there. See like I did? Bell. Yeah. So now whenever he puts up a video, I know. Yeah. That's how I know things.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for that education, Troy.
Had no idea.
We all feel smarter now.
Hey, it takes a village. It takes a village.
All right. Well, thank you, Rolland. Is there anything else you want to plug in here before we walk away?
No, I think I'm just still reeling from Transworld.
Yes.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It's a great show. It always is.
Yep. Yeah. If anybody has any questions about pneumatics or life, hit me up.
Life.
You just invited all kind of shit.
Right.
Tell me about life.
Well, this whole week I've been trying to think, what can I do? Because they've had Alan Hops on here. It's like, how can I top that? I can't. So
the butter thing.
It's all downhill.
The butter.
Yeah, the butter
was
topped
good.
Alan Hops. Yeah, it was all downhill after
Maybe
that.
it did.
By the way, it was Dan's idea to have Alan Hops, so it's all his fault.
What the fuck?
That everybody has to follow him.
Yeah,
Right.
He's like supposed to be on the last show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like guys like me, we're here somewhere in the middle, but yeah, Alan Hops is supposed to be like the headliner, right? It's like a concert, right?
That's what happens.
We wanted to start it off with a bang.
It's right down.
You started off with a bang and it deflated, but let's do this show.
Still deflating.
It's
still deflated all the way.
I think this show's way deflated.
I think this will be our last show for the season.
Yeah.
I'm canceling the other events right now.
After me, it's like no one's gonna want to watch the show.
Well, if anybody knows you, they watched.
All three of you.
Probably it's the train wreck syndrome. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Can't look away.
Speaking of the devil, come here.
You guys are talking about?
Come here. Yeah, my son.
You guys talking still?
My son just came in right here.
Oh, good typing. Good
I
typing,
can't hear you
Jackson.
because I got headphones on, so you guys can say anything you want about him.
Oh, you should get a haircut.
I'm really self-conscious.
Yeah, Troy said get a haircut.
Well, tell Troy to grow hair.
That's fair. That is fair.
Oh, that is fern right there.
Great. Thank you.
That is awesome.
I
Well done.
I hope that clip
Well
makes
done.
me,
I don't know where he gets his sense of humor at.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't venture a guess.
It's fucking awesome. Anyway, thank you, Rolland, for coming on tonight. Troy,
Thanks.
before we leave, what's happening next week?
We have the fine, amazing Canadian haunters Ken Honigman and Lilia.
Say that again.
I'm sorry. What was the last
No, I'm
name?
not going to say it again. I
No, you
butchered.
won't say it
No,
again.
no, no.
I
Ken
Oh.
who? What?
Ken
Here we
Honigman.
go.
I butcher all these people's names all the
We
time.
did it last time too.
I did.
Yeah.
But now they're on this time to talk about their home haunt. Last time they were on to talk about Fright Fest BC, which they're very involved with.
Oh,
Now they're
yeah,
going to talk
okay.
about their home haunt, which is Onmore Manor, and it is a fantastic, very detailed haunted house.
Awesome.
Not like an abandoned funhouse that has some wood walls,
Oh man, he's getting me back now. It's your son's fault.
So they'll be on next
Awesome.
week on Tuesday.
Yes.
As
All right,
usual.
guys.
Well,
Have a
thanks
great
for having
night.
me on.
Thanks again, Rolland, for coming on.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.